Hi, how are you today? So today I'm going to be addressing a topic that's very relevant for a lot of people, social anxiety. I was actually asked by a viewer to do a video specifically on social anxiety, being able to get out of your house and talk to other people, make friends, and also on depression. Now, those are three broad categories, and as far as depression goes, I highly recommend you check out any books or videos by Tony Robbins. There's plenty on YouTube, but I really recommend his books. Um, and so I've also done videos on achieving happiness based off my readings on books and the science of it and watching lectures on happiness. So there's a whole playlist on that, and I will I'll leave a link in the description to all those things, the playlist, some of the books by Tony Robbins, and so forth. So that's all I'm going to say about that issue in terms of depression and happiness. Today we're going to be focusing on social anxiety and being scared or shy in terms of talking to other people. Here's the thing I've found after observing and talking and interacting with a lot of people all across the board. The first thing is that being shy is a natural trait, and everyone has it to a certain extent based off the situation they're in. And everyone to a degree is shy. So don't think like this is something that makes you weird or strange. I found that being shy is actually pretty common. A lot of people have it. In fact, I think in certain communities, most people are shy. It's the majority. And even the people you would think are not shy, those people you see outgoing or who seem to have a lot of friends, for sure, in certain situations, they are very, very shy. I've observed it to be very true. Uh, I've talked to very popular girls. I've talked to very good-looking girls. And in certain situations, whether it's because they're shy because they're talking to guys that they're interested in, or just naturally because they're not very new to the social situation or the people, they can be shy. And so really understand that, like, these girls, these guys, they may be outgoing in this situation, but they are shy in other situations. It's a natural trait that I think has been shaped by years of evolution. I mean, there's probably a lot of practical reasons for being shy. Think about it. If you don't know these people, they could kill you. They're strangers. They could be rapists. And years of natural selection have probably pruned out the people who are too outgoing or too friendly or too nice to people that they don't know. So a little bit of caution is natural and in certain ways good. Now, in a modern society, it's oftentimes better to be maybe a little bit more outgoing in certain social situations, and that's probably what you're looking to do. And so how do you start working towards getting better at this? Well, I would say the first thing is to take baby steps. Start with something just slightly outside of your comfort zone and work towards it. Understand that this is something that requires consistent work over time. It's not something for me that took a few nights or days to get right. I mean, I'm still working on this. It takes years. And if you can slowly start pushing the comfort zone and doing things slightly out of your reach, maybe just striking up conversations with an elderly individual or someone who's friends with your friends, that can start working towards bigger and better things up until you get pretty good at talking to someone who's a complete stranger on the street. I think also you don't have to get to an extreme level like that. There's plenty of people who are introverted and they still survive, they still get a wife, they still find a husband, they still have a pretty decent life. And there are plenty of people who are very wealthy and have great friends, and they are still to this day unable to talk to someone on the street, or they still get shy when they go to a new club that they're interested in, whether it's a book club or a soccer club, whatever it is. But for me and my personal journey, I found it almost necessary to do so because I want to um, open all the doors that I can. And because of where I want to go, I don't want to fall into situations where that could have been my dream girl or that could have been a great opportunity to meet someone. And I limited myself because I was too scared to talk to that person. You yourself don't have to get to that state if you don't want to. And there's plenty of more organic, safer ways of doing this that really don't limit yourself. I mean, there's plenty of people who are very happy, who have developed very social uh, relationships with a lot of friends. But I do think that baby steps can help you, and generally speaking, going to these things can help you. And for me, it's oftentimes been pushing out of your comfort zone. And one thing I learned that's very useful is that you never really get to the point where you're just completely not scared. Well, I wouldn't say that's always true. Like nowadays, some things I'm just not really scared of. But still, to this day, there are many times where I still get very shy. There are many social situations where I'm still very, not very outgoing. And I have to understand that's okay. And sometimes I plow through the fear or the anxiety and I do it anyways. And I think that's true for a lot of different people. I was reading this book called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. He has a net worth of about $100 million, and he used to be horrible at sales. But one thing he wrote in his book was that he learned to embrace the fact that he was still scared of whatever he did. He chased TV shows. He wanted to have his own TV show. He wanted to have his own company. He wanted to be the best salesperson in the world. And he achieved a lot of those things by not really overcoming his fear, but doing it despite his fear and realizing that the worst possible case scenario isn't that bad. Like in this modern society, like if you get rejected, really it's not the end of the world. You're not killed or exiled, and that's where a lot of this programming comes in. You are genetically wired in certain ways to feel like it's gonna be death because in prehistoric times, it kind of was. If you were rejected by a female in a tribe of 20 men, that's kind of like death because you're not surviving and reproducing and passing on your genetics. More so, you could be exiled by your tribe, which meant no food because based off the system and the nomadic way that they moved, you weren't going to find food on your own. And that's just a basic example to show you that in a lot of ways social anxiety and it's so true nowadays, it's something that's in your head, and the downsides to failing is very insubstantial nowadays. So understand that and slowly with baby steps push your comfort zone over time. And I remember there's this time, this was a couple years ago, where I literally spent many days just trying to work up the courage to talk to someone, talk to a girl at college. And I went about it in a kind of over the top way that I could have done in a much more natural baby stepped way. And it was just part of how I went about things. And long story short, I spent many hours every day after I finished my classes on my college campus. And I would try and approach. And I spent this whole summer waiting for this opportunity. And finally, I was out of my small town where there's all these girls passing by. And it took me like, I would say almost a month before I finally worked up the courage. And the final motivation to do so came from such pain and such anger at myself for saying like, oh my goodness, you haven't done this. You haven't gotten any of this done. Just do it, just do it, just do it. And I finally talked to this girl and I kind of butchered it, but in all honesty, nothing really happened that like hurt me. Like I didn't get struck by lightning. I didn't die. The conversation was kind of butchered, but at the end of the day, I never saw this girl again. And she was very nice to me at the end of the day. And I was very nice to her. And I just kind of felt really relieved and really proud of myself, even though I kind of butchered the conversation. I at least had the courage to talk to her. So you don't have to go over the top in that way. If you like join a school club or activity or do something more on the lower end, there's so many ways of finding easier situations to get yourself in. You will find yourself in clubs or activities, or if you look at enough communities, you'll find people who are just so friendly and naturally engaging and nice to you that they will approach you first. They will talk to you first. They will make friends with you. They will make the effort to ask you questions and develop a friendship, and you don't have to do anything. And if you can find those groups, which may take some time, I know it did for me, and I'm still along this journey to find them. It's the most fascinating thing ever because you don't really have to do any work. Like you kind of just let them do the work, and you will learn over time that hey, these are nice people, and you get more and more comfortable over time just interacting with these people, and over many months you'll get very close to them and you'll be able to talk and you'll be very comfortable, and slowly if they bring in new people in this community, it's so easy. So that's one thing I recommend, whether it's a sports club or a entrepreneurs club, or maybe it's a volunteer organization. Consider all these opportunities. Certain things may work better for you. Maybe it's a class. It could be a improv or comedy class where just by the nature of it, you get that small community atmosphere. Or it's a place at work. And you'll find this, and if you find these places, you just realize that these people are just very friendly, and new strangers won't seem so far-fetched for you. So that's all I really want to say in a nutshell. Obviously, I have much more to say about this, but I definitely covered most of the core tenets of it in depth in this video. So as always, leave it a like and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next video. And oh yes, I will be releasing exclusive content through my email newsletter, and most likely it will be exclusive videos and so forth, and maybe some exclusive value in terms of advice or specific content that you want, whatever you want. And so sign up for my email newsletter. All you have to do is click the link in my description and then type in your email, and then you're signed up, and then I'll be releasing something like once per month, and you'll be getting cool stuff. So let me know in the comments what you think about any of this, and I hope to see you in my next video. And again, if you have any requests for stuff you want to see in my email newsletter, leave it in the comments. I will read it and take it into account. And thanks so much for watching. Let me know if I missed anything, and I'll try and respond to any questions in the comments below in terms of social anxiety and so forth. Again, I don't claim to be expert on this, so take what I say with a grain of salt and check out some of the other stuff I've mentioned. Again, I will leave links to some of the Tony Robbins stuff in the description. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.